again. Welcome to Woody's Corner. We've been cooking this weekend a bunch of stuff. So today I'm going to finish up with getting some sauerkraut made. It's a 5-week ferment process, but basically starting with a couple of cabbages. And, there's a lot of videos out there on kind of prepping this thing. I won't have a video going the whole time I'm cutting things up and all that, but basically we're gonna get these cabbages shred up, put it in a bowl. We're gonna add about 1 ounce. It's actually a tablespoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt. And after I kind of get it broke up and the initial steps started, I'm gonna actually dump in a couple of teaspoons of the juniper berries just for some extra flavor. I've got my mason jars. These are the kits you can buy for fermenting by Ball, B-A-L-L company. Those are quart jars. They've got the springs that'll help hold everything down, and the special lids that actually have a vent that helps with the escaping pressure of the fermenting process and everything. So really makes it a lot easier apparently. So it's my first time doing this, but we love sauerkraut. With some of the pastrami that I'm making after I do the first one, which I've just started today, and I'll smoke it Saturday. We'll learn from that, but I think in 5 weeks when this is done, we'll smoke another pastrami, and we'll be making some fresh Reubens with the sauerkraut. So looking forward to that. We love a good Reuben. And also with some of the pizza that we do, got some pizza dough behind us here for tonight. There's actually some sauerkraut pizza I remember having a long time ago at a place up in Alaska called the Blue Marlin, and they called it the Red Baron pizza. So I've always wanted to try to recreate my memory of that. And I think once I get some homemade kraut, I'm going to actually make some of that pizza in the future as well. So all kinds of fun stuff going on here. But let's get started. So I removed the outer 2 layers from each cabbage on the leaves. And then on the very next layer, I grabbed 1 big leaf from each. And what we'll use these for is after we get it all shredded up and pounded down into the quart jars, this will be a layer that we put on the very top, and then spring will be pushing down on that to hold it down. That just seems to be a common way to kind of prep the final thing once you get it into the quart jars. So from here, we're going to cut around that core, kind of core it into quarters, and then we'll just shred it from there. So you can see I've just got these in these quartered wedges. I'm just cutting pretty fine slices, and it's just naturally shredding and starts to look like this. And that's really all there is to it. All right, well, the first problem I see is, I've got 2 of these cabbages, so I don't know if my cabbages, which are just sort of standard size at the grocery store, are way bigger than some of the video recipes I've been watching, because it looked like people were cutting up 2 of these, getting it in a bowl, and it looked like that, big bowl, and then and they'd get all that in the 2 1-quart mason jars. But I can tell from this already that even when that gets broke down and gets wet, I'm gonna be hard pressed to get all that into the 2 mason jars. I guess you kind of tamp it down and squish it in there, but there's no way that I could use 2 of these cabbages for 2 jars. So I'm going to stop with 1 cabbage here and get to work, and I think that's what'll end up going in the 2 jars. So here we go. All right, well, the next step is really to put the salt on. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to kind of get my gloves on. I'm going to start breaking that up, make sure it's all broke up real good, put the salt on, and then I'm going to do the first massage. Okay, so I did the first breakdown and massage. I put the salt in, and you can see right away how it's wet, and that's what you want. That will start pulling up on the bottom of the pan, and that'll be really the brine that we put on top of it all after we get it in the jars. And although it broke down quite a bit with the massaging, I still don't think another cabbage should be used at this point. So I'm just going to continue with this, and I think, well, I'll know at the end. And I may just need to order, actually, I think I will order a couple more jars because I think I'm going to need them. And I probably get another batch started in a couple days. But so what I'll do is I'll just cover this with some saran wrap, let it sit for 30 minutes. Some people come back, do one more massage. It kind of depends on maybe how much of the moisture is starting to show up in the bottom. Some go as far as 3 hours and maybe 6 massages. So kind of depends. But that's what we'll do over and over until we think it's ready to go. And we got enough of the brine liquid at the bottom of the bowl to do what we want to do. More to come. Well, the more I looked at the first batch, I was like, I think I might be able to squish those in one of those jars. So we'll find out. I went ahead and got the other cabbage started, and so we'll see at the end. It seems like the more you massage and break it down, I mean, it gets smaller, more compacted and everything too. So let's see, this is the first batch. It's been 30 minutes, so I'm about to do the second massage on it. I've got the juniper berries in there, and I'll put some juniper berries in here, about 2 teaspoons worth, and get to work. So the massaging process has been going well. This has probably been massaged 3 times now, every 30 minutes. So both of them are breaking down and getting kind of more compact all the time. So I do believe I'm going to be able to get both of these into these 2 jars. And I didn't have a tripod or anything set up, but as far as, the kneading and the massaging process, it's really just a nice, they call it a deep muscle massage technique. So it's not light massage. You're really giving this thing a good squeeze. You just keep flipping it around, do it for several minutes each time you do the massage. And you can see how wet it's getting, and then more importantly, getting a nice pool up of the brine at the bottom here. And that's actually a lot. That's going to be great because you want to, when you put all this in the mason jars, you want to get it all tamped down so there's probably about 2 inches of airspace, and then you're going to pour this liquid in on top. And so having as much liquid as you can naturally is good. A lot of people don't recommend creating a salt solution to pour on top of it. It's better to just use this natural stuff. So a lot of different techniques out there and what people choose to do. But this one's coming along nice, getting a lot of nice fluid built up. It's time. So we've got a lot of good moisture. You can see at the bottom in both of these batches. So we're going to try to get each one into a fermenting quart jar here. So I'm basically just going to use my spatula and start putting it in there. And as I put it in there, I'm going to be tamping it down, try to get all the air bubbles out and squeeze as much in there as we can. And again, we want to basically fill it up to probably leave about 2 inches of headspace, it sounds like. So off we go. So I've got most of the first batch into the quart bottle. I think I might just put just a teeny bit more in there, but I've been tamping it down. And so yeah, I think it would be hard to get the full cabbage in there. But got a lot of nice liquid for the brine that we'll scoop out of there and put on the top here. So we're in good shape. Well, there it is, all capped off. I put the cabbage leaf in after I put the liquid on top, compressed it, put the lid on, and again, this is the setup with the spring and the special lid with the vent. So yeah, there it is. It's all ready to go. And you can see how much we had left of the cabbage. So yeah, the whole thing wouldn't fit in there. That's all right. Had a lot of liquid, and the liquid, you want to get it all covered up. And you can see how it filled up right to the top. So you want that liquid. You don't want any air or anything in there. And there we go. We got as much as we could in the 2. We got a nice layer of the brine. It's ready for some fermenting for 5 weeks. So we'll put it on a little tray just in case anything comes out of the vents, and stick it down in my man cave where it's nice and cool in the basement. You can see, we had a little bit left from bowl 1 and a little bit left from bowl 2. Not enough to really do a third jar is what it looks like. So, it gives you an idea what 2 cabbages will do here. So real excited to get this going, and now we got to wait. So more to come, I guess, in 5 weeks. This is day 3. It's actually Wednesday afternoon. I put these in Sunday afternoon. And you can see the one has a little bit of action coming out of those special events. Not so much on that one. And if you watch, you can see some bubbling action. Here and there. Well, I did a second ago. Maybe the video is not picking it up. Oh, there went a bubble. So I'll have to check on it here each day and just see if a little bit more bubbling action takes place. But so far, so good. And there's the sauerkraut doing its thing. That's funny. I've noticed this one jar is steadily kind of vented, which is what those vents are for. Let's have that pressure out. The left one's never actually bubbled out of there, so I don't know if it's just that one had a little bit more liquid in it, maybe, I guess. But yeah, doing their thing. It's about 65 degrees down here, typically, probably 65 to 68 down here. I'm in down here in the man cave. So the man cave gets used for music and fermenting things. So there you go. Howdy, folks. Doing a little cooking tonight. We're doing the Greek chicken thigh recipe again. And got all our ingredients ready here. Just browning up the chicken thighs right now, and then we're also pulling off the sauerkraut that we've been making for 5 weeks. So we'll put that on a video a little bit later after we eat here. This is our cat Slinky. Can you say hi, Slinky? All right, we got the veggies, some of them anyway, browning up here next. Greek chicken thighs. Smells so good. Got more to go here. Got these all browned up. We're using actually a different cast iron. It's a little shorter one here. But I wanted it because it can get all 8 chicken thighs in there versus the big pan, which only got like 4. So we're going to cook this down, get the chicken on there, and bake it.
Okay.
All right, it's been 5 weeks. We got the sauerkraut ready for the reveal. So the first thing we're going to do is give it a smell. Oh, it's got a very much of a sauerkraut smell to it. Now this one had vented with the venting kind of right along. Now this one didn't. And I never understood why one vented and one didn't.
What's the purpose of the spring?
Oh, it holds everything down.
Oh.
Now there was a little more liquid in that one, which, just a little bit. Yeah, it definitely got a sauerkraut smell. So, I put a leaf on top of each one. So, if you smell something really funky, you'd be concerned, but it just smells like sauerkraut. All right, so I guess what I got to do is drain this. and dig all this out. I'm going to put it in there, and then we'll give it a taste test. So go ahead and stop it. All right, got it all out. We had one of these big jars. It's like 2 quarts, I guess. So I poured a little of the liquid out of the first one and emptied it in there, and then I poured the liquid from the second one in there just to have a little bit of liquid. So yeah, it smells like sauerkraut and tastes like sauerkraut, and now I'm going to refrigerate it and we'll see what we use it for.